Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CRZ, and it's the GT model, top of the range car. This particular car is registered YH11KNZ, and mileage at the start of the video, I'm just going to get there in a second, hopefully, just press this button, 67,073 miles, sorry about that, it's on the wrong screen. Reason we do these videos very simply is basically we just want anyone that's looking at our cars online to actually get to see those cars in operation. We know, unfortunately, to our cost, just how frustrating it can be to go and see a car which can look really good in the description and the photographs provided, only to get there and find out when you drive it it's got a fundamental issue which you'd really rather have known about before setting off. So that's why we do it. It's also done on these lovely quiet country roads close to our premises, and this actually forms part of the road test route anyone will go on. The reason we do that is that we want to make sure we want this to be basically representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car in question, engine or hybrid system, basically press a button, whirs into life, there's no sort of cranking, it uses the hybrid system to start the car. Starts absolutely immediately, engine settles to completely smooth and even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, so all good. The hybrid system's absolutely brilliant on these things. I mean, Honda have been in these for years and years and years, and what it gives you basically is 3 modes of driving, and it's all self-charging. There is no plugging in, you can't run out of battery. The only thing you can run out of is fuel, obviously. The car always starts in what's refers to as normal, and it's a little sign up there telling me I'm in normal mode, and you've got these 3 buttons on the side of the steering wheel. So the default is normal. If I really want to be very economical, I can press economy, which is what I've just done. And that is obviously the leanest style of engine deployment, if you like, that you can have. But you put your foot down, it feels markedly slower than in normal. As I say in the advert, I had one of these. I've had a few of them actually, but I had one many years ago. And if I'm brutally honest, and it might sound a strange thing to say, I just didn't get on with it. And the reason was because I pretty much drove the whole time in economy mode, trying desperately to beat or match the economy figures they were claimed for the car. And it really spoiled my enjoyment of the car. There is a time and a place for it. If you're just tootling around town, you've got no great need to put your foot down and fly away, then yeah, it's great. But at moments like now, put foot down, it's just slower to react, basically. The second one I bought, which I absolutely loved, and I loved them all from that point on. Basically, I just get in, press the sport mode, immediately changes the throttle response, and it changes the whole character of the car. It suddenly feels effervescent, it feels bubbly, it feels keen to go. You've got that lovely induction noise that you get from 4-cylinder Honda engines. It's a brilliant sounding engine. So smooth all the way through the rev range as well. It positively encourages you to drive, as does everything about the car, which is what I love about it. Putting it in sport mode also, by the way, sort of makes the steering slightly heavier and gives you this lovely kind of red hue on the inside of the rev counter there, just to remind you are in sport mode. But brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Engine then feeds through clutch and into gearbox. Clutch in the car, absolutely perfect. Bite point's exactly where it's meant to be, and it's lovely and slick in the pedal travel. That then takes you through to one of the best gearboxes you'll ever use, whether you've got a front wheel drive or rear wheel drive car. First and foremost, the gear lever feels brilliant in the hand. It's got this kind of ridged feel underneath the gear lever, so you wrap your hand around it and hold on, but it's just the perfect shape for a gear knob. I mean, bizarre as it sounds, but the gear change is absolutely fantastic. It's kind of weighty, it's precise, it's slick, it's incredibly quick. and again, it's just adding to the character of the car. It's absolutely brilliant. Also worth pointing out, there's zero wear in it, by the way. There's no kind of sort of flexing or otherwise on it. It's absolutely sort of wobbling rather. Steering of the car feels as tight as a drum. It tracks absolutely dead straight, and there's no vibrations at all at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit actually. But it's a lovely power steering system, because as I said in the advert, I mean, the feel of the car to me is very much of an era, and it reminds me so much of kind of 80s and 90s hot hatches, because they were really lovely. They were light on their feet, they were dynamic, they were quick to change direction. They weren't sort of plagued by having to sort of be overly refined, if you like. Whereas this has got all of that. It's got bags of character. The steering is really direct and flows through corners absolutely beautifully, and transmits back what you're doing really nicely. It feels great in hand as well. And the chassis is just sensational, because unlike the 80s and 90s hot hatches, which were rickety, bouncy, horrible things, this is actually a very comfortable car most of the time. Only the sharpest ridges will catch it out, as it will pretty much any car. Other than that, it really rides very, very well indeed. But what it has is a wonderful kind of chuckable nature to it. So when you're going into corners, even sort of tight ones like this, very little body roll, car wants to dig in. It's just got a really lovely sort of seat of the pants feel to the car. For those that kind of, you know, want to be able to have this in a car, but also, if they're not in the mood, just back off and still be eminently comfortable. Also worth pointing out, while I'm on test drive, I'm just listening out for any kind of noises from the suspension that shouldn't be there, kind of sort of little rattles or groans, and there's nothing at all. Feels absolutely spot on. Likewise, the brakes are superb on the car. I mean, you just give them a thump and they absolutely bite beautifully, but there's no pulsing or vibrations coming back through the pedals either. Coming to the interior, first and foremost, it's in lovely condition in here, and they are beautifully made cars. No squeaks, no rattles, nothing. And what's lovely about the interior is it's really unique, and I think that's brilliant for any car. And it doesn't mean it appeals to everybody. And as I say on lots of my videos, for Civics in particular, I think it's a really good thing, because, you know, if we're all the same, it'd be a pretty dull world. So you got, you know, first and foremost, the colourings is helped by the fact with the GTs you get this lovely glass roof, so you get a lot of natural light coming in, but this kind of silver trim and lighter lower panels, which are very reminiscent, as I say on many of the CRZ videos, of kind of BMWs, the texturing, you know, so it's not a bad thing to copy in all honesty, but bolted together beautifully well. This GT is equipped with Honda's optional sat-nav system, working absolutely perfectly. Air conditioning pumps out absolutely ice cold air, so working exactly as it should. And then in front of me, this lovely dashboard, really interesting to look at. The display is easy to take the information in, and it's got a symmetry to it which I absolutely love. And again, that reminds me of other Hondas donkeys years ago. I mean, I'm talking a long time ago, Mark I Preludes, but then subsequently things like the S2000 had the same affair, where either side would be a similar feel, so you weren't getting confused when, you know, trying to sort of place your fingers on the dash at all. Also, the quality of switchgear on these is absolutely brilliant. It's typical of the Japanese. They do this absolutely superbly. As I said at the start of the video, the point of it is literally just to show the car in operation. But I am enthusiastic about these. I make no apologies, because they are just wonderful cars. Lastly, again, I'd be brutally honest with you, they are officially a four-seater car. Just dismiss that. If you're thinking of using it as a four-seater car, it's the wrong car, in all honesty. The rear seats are absolutely tiny, so just drop them down and leave it with a huge hatch in the back, so that's the best for the car, in all honesty. That's how it should be seen. But as I said at the start, the point is to pick up on any issues, of which there's nothing at all. It drives absolutely beautifully. It's tight as a drum. without nothing that flags up. If you've got any questions though, don't hesitate, do give us a call.